Hello there, brosters. This is the Broman, and welcome back to another episode of our Bukkit plugin coding tutorial. I'm never able to pronounce that correctly. In this episode, seeing that the last one, we've continued a little bit with our auto broadcaster to get color in the when you use the config version of it. In this episode, I was thinking we would do some muting. Oh, yeah. Let me just disable the pop-ups. There, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, to do muting. So, say for example that you want only your staff members to be able to talk when it's been muted. It's very simple. First of all, we want to make two permissions. You have public permission mute, new permission YouTube.mute. Then we have public permission mute talk equals new permission YouTube.mute.talk. The reason why I'm making them in two different and not just make everyone who can mute the chat can talk, that's because if you, for example, have donators, you want them, like, have a donator rank, you want to be able to speak whilst the chat is muted, but not being able to mute the chat, then they can just do that. So save that. Let's go over to our commands. If wait. Okay, if label dot equals ignore case, if you were slow, mute. If args dot length is equal to 0, then no wait, shit, it's a long time since I've been doing Java. I've been coding a lot of Lua lately for World of Warcraft, so I'm like, yeah. So if there's no arguments, we want to check. I'll just think about how I want to do this. What I'm thinking about is that we will have mute who, mute toggle. No wait, mute who, and then mute with a reason. So yeah, one argument at most for the commands. Okay, so if player player dot has permission new permissions dot mute, else we want to make a let's see, public static mute equals 1. Public static int muted equals 0. So we want to check if muted is equal to 0. So if it is not muted, then we want to do bucket dot get server dot broadcast message. Chat has let's do it in colors. So chat color. It's been a long time since I've been doing Java. Chat color dot let's say red. Chat has been muted by plus chat color dot blue plus player dot get name plus chat color dot red plus, and then boom, like that, and then we just do like that, and then boom. And then we want to set muted, so muted equals 1. Oh. Else bucket dot get server dot broadcast message chat color dot red plus chat has been unmuted by chat color dot blue plus player dot get name plus chat color dot red plus exclamation mark, like that. I want to change like so, and then muted equals 0. So what we've done so far is that if we're checking if there's only one argument. If there is, I'm just putting on else so I don't forget that. If it is, then we will check if the player has the permission mute. If they do, and then we will check if the server actually is muted. If it's not, it will say to all players online, so it will broadcast a message saying that it has been muted by the player name. And then it will set muted to 1, which is what we check to like make sure like for them talking and such. Excuse me. But if muted is not equal to 0, it will broadcast that the chat has been unmuted by the player name, and then it will set muted to 0. This else is if the player does not have permission. Then it will say, then we check if muted is equal to 0, then no. I'm so used to Lewis, I'm really sorry. So if the chat isn't muted, it will just send the player a message saying chat color dot blue plus the chat isn't muted, like that. And we want to store this player name, so what we want to do, if you go up here, public static string mute commander, whatever we want to call it, and set that to nothing. Then when it's being muted, we want to do mute commander equals player dot get name, like that. But if actually the chat is muted, we want to say the player dot send message chat color dot red plus the chat has been muted, or actually plus mute commander plus chat color dot blue plus was the one who muted the chat last. Right, that, like that. So what we have done now is that, like, if the player isn't able to mute the chat, so if they're not a staff member, say that, or like at least don't have the permission mute, then it will check if the chat is muted. If it is not, it will send the player a message saying that the chat isn't muted. But if the chat is muted, it will send them a message with the player who muted the chat and then was the one who muted the chat last. So Um, yeah. Now I want to go over to if the args, excuse me, if the arguments are more than one. So else if args.length is equal to 1, we want to I'm just trying to think this through how we want to do this. This will be so if if args equals ignore case and we'll put this to who, then player dot send message, and then we'll just actually we can just copy this like that. So then staff members can check who muted the chat without because if they type mute then it will just toggle it, but if you type in slash mute who, it will then tell them, no matter if they're a staff or not, it will tell them who muted the chat. Then we want to do else, because if it's not equals to who, then we have to check if muted is not equal to 0, then player dot send message chat color dot red plus the chat has already been muted by plus chat color dot blue plus mute commander. So if it's not equal to 0, it will do that. Else, so if it actually is muted, what we wanted to do is to mute the chat for as long, for the reason with the argument. So for example, you can say for example /mute lockdown, and it will actually say that the player has muted the chat for the reason lockdown. So what we want to do is bukkit.broadcast message chat color dot blue plus mute commander plus chat color dot red plus has muted the chat for the reason chat color dot green plus args 0 like that. So we want to go to that one. Else, so if it's longer than 1 but less, if it's not 0 or 1, so if it's like 20 or 45 or 200, if that would be possible, it will do this. So we want to check again if player dot has permission mute like that. If they do, if they don't, it will say a player dot send message chat color dot dark red plus you do not have permission to do this. But if they do have permission to use that command, what we want them to do is, let me just scroll down a little bit. We want them to get all of the thingies. We want to get down here. We want to get the message. So we can actually just copy this and paste it in here. So string message equals blah blah blah, and then we say player, actually bucket dot broadcast message chat color dot red plus, actually no, it was blue plus, I'm just gonna put on that so it doesn't give us an error, plus mute commander plus chat color dot red plus has muted the chat for the reason plus chat color dot green plus message plus chat color dot red plus exclamation mark chat color, like that. And that should be it. Oh no, we need to do muted equals 1. Muted equals 1. There we go. And then we want to go to plugin.yml just so we can save the command. So 2 spaces, make sure to do spaces. Mute 4 spaces description, mute the chat. We'll save that, update the YouTube project. Then we go to our player interaction, and we want to go to the bottom one, make a couple spaces. Want to do at event handler public void on player chat. We don't have that. Nope. So on player chat, player chat. I don't remember which one it was. On player chat, async player chat event. So what we now want to do, player equals event.get player if plugin dot muted is equal to 1. So if it is muted, then we want to do event dot set cancelled true. Else it won't do anything. Else. There we go. That should be it. Okay, so if you now update a couple of times, export, next, make sure it's YouTube, finish, yes, and yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'm sorry for that I didn't do a gameplay of it, but my Minecraft isn't working for some reason. But I'll go through it to make sure it's correct. It should be working. So we are checking. Let's see. We are checking if the label is mute. If it's no arguments and the player has permission to mute, it's not muted. It will say that it will mute the chat, save the mute commander, If it is not, if it is muted, it will unmute it. Yes. But if they do not have the permission and it's not muted, it will say that it's not muted. If it is muted, it will say who muted the chat. If it's one argument and that argument is who, Okay, there's one thing we forgot to do here. We forgot to check if the player has permission. So, if player dot has permission, new permissions dot I've completely forgotten how to do this. It's like that. Like that. If player does new permissions dot mute. Okay. Oh yeah, of course. We forgot to register it, the okay. We also so if it is muted, so if you also to check if the player, so if player dot has permission, new permissions dot mute talk, then it won't do anything else. Like that. And we need to go here. pm.add permission, new permissions dot mute, and pm.add permission, new permissions dot mute talk. Like that. Now everything should be working. If it's not, please leave a comment about it and I'll update a video as soon as possible. So now you just need to export and such that, and there. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, a like would be really appreciated. I'm sorry for messing up at the end there, but it's been a while since I've been coding Java, and I'm a little bit tired. So yeah, I'll see you guys in another video. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, you can subscribe for more videos and you can leave a like. It really helps me a lot. I really appreciate it. And you can also click on one of the two videos you see on the screen and it will take you to either a previous video or a random video depending on which one you choose. So, do you choose the red video or the blue one?